Hey, sports fans, PB&Z, Sports Chaos. Cheers, it's the weekend, the freaking weekend. And by the way, we're talking playoffs. Playoffs? We're talking about playoffs? Yeah, Jim Moore, we're talking about playoffs here. Yes, we are. We got the finals in the NBA, and it looks like we're going to have the Stanley Cup starting pretty quickly because a week ago, you and I were chatting, PB. On this show, Rangers were looking pretty 2-0. They were up 2-1 in game 3, and then, right?
Yeah, and that's the one thing I pointed out was the Rangers have been playing well in the playoffs behind. They were down 3-1 to the Penguins. They were down 3-2 to the Canes. Every time their backs were up against the wall, they were able to come back. Now, a little bit different. They're down 3-2, but after having a 2-0 lead, they haven't responded well being up in the series. Obviously, that game 3 back in Tampa was their opportunity to just like basically clinch the series. They lose that. Tampa Bay comes back, wins the next one. And then back in Madison Square Garden last night, the first time a road team has won in this entire series. Tampa Bay takes game 3. All of a sudden, 3 in a row, up 3-2 in the series. And I think a big part of that is Shesterkin. I mean, I still think he's a good goalie, but he was playing out of his mind for the first few games, or a couple of games. And you can even go back to the previous series against Carolina. And now all of a sudden he's coming a little bit back down to earth, right?
He was playing like a young Ken Dryden in the 70s. Bruins fans, you know what I'm talking about. But then it just crashed and burned, right?
Yeah. So I think the Lightning now with game 6 back in Tampa Bay have a chance at just taking this thing with 4 straight wins, winning a series in 6. And even if they don't, I think they have enough resilience. I mean, we saw them in the first round go up to Toronto in a game 7 and win that on the road. So I don't put that past them. They have 2 legitimate chances to win the series. I think it's Tampa's series to win. And right now, that's going to be a matchup with them and the Avalanche in the Cup.
So, PB, before we get to that, because I think I agree with you, is it over in 6?
I think it's over in 6. I think Tampa Bay's got all the momentum right now. They're going back home. That place is off the charts. It's like Toronto when they play there. The entire stadium outside is just a huge party. So, I mean, it's going to be an absolute show and a half, I think, tomorrow night. And yes, my prediction is Tampa Bay does take the series in 6.
So I boldly predicted that there was no Floridian team that would make these Stanley Cup finals. I'm off that now because I agree with you. I think this thing is over, which means Tampa Bay goes into the Stanley Cup finals with a 4-game winning streak. The Avs are very hot, but they're going to be off for a while. They're going to be 4 games in a row winning streak. I believe the Avs will have the home ice, but do you think Tampa Bay can still win it at Colorado with this hot stretch?
Yeah, I do. I think it'll be a great series. Wouldn't put me past me either if Colorado just keeps winning like they are and sweeps them. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised by that. I hope that doesn't happen, but they're to me, they're the best team right now. And if I had to bet that series, obviously I got to lean towards Colorado. I mean,
so you're going to take Colorado with Tampa Bay, even if Tampa Bay wins game 6 and they're on a 4-game winning streak, you like Colorado still.
Yeah. And the other thing Colorado showed us too is they can rest. You know, they've rested, not played because they've been winning their series in short order, and they just sit around and wait, and they come back and they're still winning games. So, you know, this little break that they have right now, I think is only going to help them.
I always get nervous about long breaks, though. I mean, I tell you, look what happened to Golden State again in game 1. We'll talk about that momentarily with the Celtics, but I don't know. Sometimes a long break, especially when you have momentum, I don't know. Let's talk about the legacy of Tampa Bay, because I did not realize this, PB. So they've won 2 in a row now as Cups. They're going for the 3rd. Only 3 other teams, have won 3 in a row. The Canadians, I think, was in the 50s. Toronto in the 60s, and the Islanders in the 80s. Even the vaunted Oilers with Gretzky never won 3 in a row. Tampa Bay is going for 3 in a row.
Oh, Edmonton never won 3 in a row, huh?
No.
Oh, but they won.
I didn't realize that's. I heard Mark Messier say that the other night on ESPN. He's like, we didn't even win 3 in a row. I'm like, what?
Really? Okay. So they must have won 2 and then lost 1 year and then won 2 more or something like that. Because I know they won I thought they won 4 in a row.
They might have went to four, but they probably lost a conference finals or something in between, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, only 3 teams have won 3+.
Wow.
And Toronto, Tampa Bay could be the 4th. So, they're looking at all-time great hockey, right? At this point in time.
Yeah, that's great. I'm thinking like the NFL. Has that even happened in the NFL? I know the Cowboys won 3, but in 4 years, right? They didn't win 3 in a row.
Yeah, no one's ever won 3 in a row, Super Bowl wise.
And
Anyway,
the Patriots
it's only been
3. Right, the Patriots won 3 in 4 years. The Cowboys won 3, and the Steelers won 4 in 5 years. I think they won 2, lost the year, then won 2 more. But they never won 3 in a row.
Something like that, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. They won 4 in like a 6-year span. I know that the Steelers in the 70s, right? So Tampa Bay, this is legacy time for these guys, and 3 of those guys, right? Stamkos, Valesky, what's his name? The goalie and the other kid there.
Vasilevsky and Kucherov.
Those guys are looking at Hall of Fame careers at this point in time, right?
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. Win or lose, they probably are, because they're going to keep playing.
True.
But you're right though. This kind of cements that team as the team of the century, really, since 2000, that has had that kind of impact in winning back-to-back championships. So
that's a good point. Yeah. All right. So right now, if it's Avs, Tampa Bay, you're picking Avs.
I've been touting the Avs all year.
You have. Yes, you have.
I always stick with my guns, and so I probably root for Tampa Bay. And as a matter of fact, I will root for Tampa Bay. But if I had to put money on it, I would probably lean towards the Avalanche.
And the Avs, by the way, I believe they only have 2 cups in their history as well, right? Two championships they've ever won, 2 Stanley Cups.
Yeah, one of them was last year when Ray Bourque had left the Bruins and went to go play for the Avs, and they retired. They actually retired Ray Bourque's number in Colorado, even though he played there for like a year.
It's a beautiful thing. All right, let's talk about the other big event. The locals like to hear it. The Celtics were in the NBA Finals. We got a 2-1 lead. Thanks to a great opening series win, Game 1. Not so good in Game 2. Kicked Golden State's ass in Game 3. All the chatter and talk is all about Golden State coming back and winning tonight to even the series up. What do you think, PB, at this point in time?
I really like the Celtics. I don't want to be a homer, but I think the Celtics are a more well-rounded team. I think they're a deeper team. I think they play better defense, and they're making their shots. I think we know that Steph Curry can shoot the ball probably better than anybody in the NBA. We know Klay Thompson, even though he was cooled off for a little while, he did get hot for a little bit there in that Game 3 the other night. But we know he can shoot the ball. They get open looks, they're deadly. So the Celtics have guys like that too. But the thing about the Celtics is they have more guys like that. Like you give an open 3 to Pritchard, you give an open 3 to Derek White, you give an open 3 to Al Horford, you give an open 3 to Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. The list goes on. All those guys can hurt you.
Well, I would say this: Derek White, I don't know, or Marcus Smart either when they're open, because both those guys when they shoot, you go, oh no, oh good shot, right? Pritchard, yes, for sure. Pritchard for sure. And the rest of the guys you mentioned. But Derek White and Marcus Smart, they take a 3-pointer. I'm closing my eyes and hoping it goes in. So I don't know. Hey, PB, this is one thing that's just blowing my mind, and I'm getting pissed off. Golden State fans, Golden State players, and Golden State family are critiquing and criticizing the Boston crowd for being too ugly, violent, and vulgar. You've been to games in Boston. Yes, we're loud, we're crazy, but it's not New York, right?
And it's part of the game. It's part of the game. That's why they call it home court advantage. That's what's going to happen. You're going to have people behind you yelling, whatever they can do to make you to get inside your head. Guess what?
I know, right?
It's working. So
no one's died at a Boston Celtics, Boston Brewers, New England Patriots, or Red Sox game. LA Dodgers, New York, San Francisco Giants. People have died in the parking lot, for Christ's sake. Come on. I'm blown away by the fact they say this. It's just fans with passion. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I agree. And Golden State's basically been a bunch of crybabies
Oh God, yes.
led by Draymond Green. I mean,
Oh man.
and I'm so when they saw that stat line, 2 points after that game 3. I mean, come on.
How about this? 15 fouls, 15 points in 3 games. Draymond. He's quickly becoming like one of the biggest villains since probably Bill Laimbeer, right? I mean, that's the comparison in my mind, Bill Laimbeer, right?
Yeah.
By the way, we talked about this last week, and I'm going to bring it up again. But if Golden State loses and they go 3-3 in these 6 finals in 8 years, I don't think it's a great number. Matter of fact, the way Klay Thompson's played, I know he had a good game in game 3, but they lost. And the way Draymond's played, those guys who everybody says are sure bet Hall of Famers, don't you think their legacy's sustained?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure it's going to have an impact on their ability to get into the Hall of Fame. I know when we talk football, a lot of times they attach that ring and they attach that Super Bowl championship to a player's legacy and use that as a way to determine whether or not they should be in the Hall of Fame. But let's also keep in mind too that football careers are a lot shorter.
Yes.
So you might only have 7 years of brilliance, like a Barry Sanders. You're not going to put him in the Hall of Fame because he played for the Lions and never want to. You know what I mean? Like you got to. It's a different thing. In the other sports, including in basketball, obviously too, you can still have a career that you build and you continue to build and you build over years. And if you play in the league for 15 to 20 years, you're just going to put up numbers that are going to be right up there. So you don't have to be, like flat. If you're a flash in the NBA for 5 years or 6 or even 7 years, no championships, and you know what I mean? You're not going to get in probably.
Right.
But all these guys like Steph Curry, I don't care if he never wins another championship the rest of his career, he's going into the Hall of Fame.
Yes, right? Yes, because as Stephen A. Smith says, he's the greatest shooter that ever lived. I don't know, Sam. If there was a 3-point line, I think Sam Jones would have mastered that as well. But anyway, speaking of the 60 Celtics, a guy that reminds me, I didn't watch the 60 Celtics, I was not old enough, but a guy that reminds me of somebody from the 60 Celtics, Bill Russell's the guy I'm thinking of, Robert Williams. Does he change the game or what?
And that guy can block a shot.
If he was 100% healthy, would this thing be over, you think, in like 5 games?
Oh, it very well could be. They can't. Well, the only thing that Golden State would be able to do is just try to keep the ball on the perimeter and try to find those open threes and keep shooting. But the minute they get inside that paint, I mean, he swats everybody, no matter who's trying to shoot the ball. He can jump. He gets up there. His timing is perfect. He can get you when he's in front. He can come from behind you. Like going in the paint with that guy is just, you're asking for it.
He's only playing around 20 minutes right now because of that knee, which God bless him. I mean, tore a meniscus less than 2 months ago, and he's out there playing. If he was 100% healthy right now and he was playing 35 minutes a game, I think the series is like 4-1. I think it's done because they can't get inside on him. And by the way, he's all over the court. He's pretty athletic. He can go wing to wing, right? Top to bottom. So Robert Williams, and we talked about this. We jinxed him about 6 weeks ago. You and me saying he was the key to the Celtics team going to the playoffs. But he's the key right now. He looks like Bill Russell somewhat, with the way he blocks shots and rebounds. And God forbid they got him a little more offensively involved with a few more lobs for dunks. Golden State would be demoralized. Don't you think so?
Yeah. And hey, even still, there's a chance the Celtics could still win this thing in 5 games.
They could. Right? I need 2 things to happen. I still need Jalen and Jason to stop going ISO. Move the ball. You're going to have that internal clock. 3, 2, 1. Get rid of the ball. Get rid of the ball. As long as the ball swings, they're all right. You know what I'm saying? I don't like Jason bringing the ball up. For whatever reason, he brings the ball up. It's a risk all the time. Why doesn't Marcus or Pritchard or Derek White bring the ball up all the time? I'll tell you what, Rondo, number 9, if he was playing on that team, he would be ripping the ball out of Jason Tatum's hand and bringing the ball up the court. Yeah. I just wish he would give it up and then set up and let the offense roll after they get the half court, Yeah,
and that's a key too for them. And that's one thing you say about Tatum is his turnovers. And the Celtics as a team turn the ball over a lot. He's one of the biggest culprits of that. And I too get nervous. I even when he even when he like drives the lane, he knows he's not going to go up. He's looking for that guy on the perimeter. He makes those passes. Sometimes those passes are crazy. I'm like, where the hell is this thing going? And sometimes it does end up in someone's hand. I'm like, wow, that was a good pass. But he tries too many risky things, to your point, that results in turnovers. And they were averaging, I think, 19 turnovers a game. That's 5 a quarter in the playoffs. You can't do that. They keep doing that. Golden State's going to hang around.
Yeah, I agree.
If they can
sometimes it
eliminate
looks like
that,
Bobby Sproul in Yankee Stadium pitching.
yeah, right. But if they can eliminate that and play a sound game and just play the defense the way they're playing, make their open shots, they're going to win.
All right, so let me ask you a question. Everybody talks about Game 3 in a 1-1 series being pivotal. The winner of Game 3 is 82% to always to win those series. I think Game 4 right now, because Celtics have home court advantage now. They stole it by winning Game 1. I think Game 4 is the pivotal game. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, either way you look at it, Golden State has to win 3 out of 4 right now. They have to play. They're playing basically 4 games against the Celtics, and they have to go 3-1. That's tough to do, you know.
But if they win this one tonight, they get home court back. That means the Celtics have to win another game down the road in San Francisco. What do you think?
That's tough. That'll be tough. If they drop this one here, it's tied 2-2. They go back to Golden State. The only thing I can say is the Celtics have played well on the road throughout the entire playoffs. They already split in Golden State.
Good point.
So even if they lose this game and go 2-2, they just have to split in Golden State again, right?
All right.
And then they can still win, but they got to win that game 6 back home too. So.
All right. So give me a prediction. What do you think happens tonight? What do you think happens in the series right now?
I think Golden State hangs around. What I'd love to see is a win tonight for the Celtics, makes it 2-2, makes it 3-1. I think Golden State gets a little fired up when they go back home. They win that one, it goes 3-2, and the Celtics win on their home court in Game 6 in Boston, which, by the way, is also the night I'm flying into Boston. I land at 5:58 p.m. and that game is at 9 p.m. that night. So I'll be with my daughter.
By the way, if you remember last time we won a chip, 2008. Game 6 was here. We blew the Lakers out like by 36 points. I think it was the biggest final game ever. So we'll see. All right, PB, I'm with you. Celtics have to win tonight. My prediction is this. They win tonight, they win the series. If they lose tonight, they lose the series. Bottom line.
Right, because you're thinking if Golden State gets that home court back and it becomes a 2 out of 3, you think Golden State wins? Okay.
I think so. Yes. All right. Hey, real quick, before we move on and conclude tonight, the Live Golf Tournament. Do you have any thoughts on the Live Golf Tournament?
The Live?
Yes, that's where the Saudi Arabian money is going, and the 17 PGA pros are now suspended.
Oh, okay.
I could care less, but I can't believe they got suspended. Hey, by the way, U.S. Open is here next week in Brookline, Mass. Can you believe it?
Oh, wow. Okay.
At the Country Club.
The Country Club. Oh, and also we got to point out, you called the men's French Open tennis. You called Nadal, won it again. His 14th French Open or something like that. So
22. He's the all-time champion right now. He's 2 up on both Federer, which I don't think will ever win another one. And the Joker, who probably will win at least one more, but good for Nadal, right?
Yeah, good for Nadal.
He's a good guy.
He owns the French Open.
Yeah. All right, PB, good show, man. Go Celtics. Let's go. Take care.
All right, man.